this afternoon. That is after the meeting. We are also going to have a meeting with them. Then they are going to start a real action over there.
Okay, but as it stands now, the situation has normalized, as Swami, would you say?
Yeah, it has normalized, but it has been difficult. And the Nigerians have not. Of course, church-wise, it is not advisable for them to open their shops anytime now. And so the tensions are really calm.
Okay, well, that's my colleague Prince Apia, Love FM's Prince Apia there, bringing us the very latest from that press conference and, of course, from Swami Market. But let's hear from the Deputy Trade Minister, Carlos Ahinkra, and he's been urging calm in the area.
Government is not in favor, let me say, of any actions that would unleash forceful ejection or put our brothers in the sub-region or traders, investors in Ghana in any jeopardy. It is just unfortunate that people would alienate other people just because of happenings and occurrences in the country. And I like to take advantage of this opportunity of this situation to let our countrymen understand that they should exercise restraint and let us separate this situation from what has become an albatross around our neck that we are trying to find solutions to. Yes, we know that there's been some kidnappings in the country. Nobody is happy about it. We have tried very hard to find a way around the security situation in terms of trying to solve these problems. There are challenges which I'm sure the security agents are up to, but it does not mean that everybody who is a foreigner on our soil is involved in this kind of exercise or in this kind of atrocity. By so saying, I am appealing to traders and of course market people to allow government and by extension the Ministry of Trade find a lasting solution to these problems. We believe that the trading business, which of course have been hijacked as a matter of fact by some of our brothers, our colleagues in the sub-region, and therefore putting our own traders or own countrymen at a disadvantage, is not a problem that we can run away from. Unfortunately, in the ECOWAS protocol, there's a non-discrimination clause which we cannot separate ourselves from.
Now, on the sidelines of a sub-regional experience sharing workshop on building and sustaining national dialogue and peace structures, board member of the National Peace Council, Reverend Dr. Niha Mudakon, spoke to Joy News on the sidelines of that program, and he thinks that Ghanaians should be able to accommodate foreigners.
In our country is uncalled for, because you see, it is important for us to acknowledge that we are a family in this sub-region. What for me, as a minister of the gospel would say, as scripture says, is that we should always seek the welfare of our neighbors and pray for them. Now, obviously, there may be some elements, some criminal elements amongst them who may have found themselves, or inroads into our country and maybe causing some acts of criminality. Now, let's leave that to the security agencies to deal with. If we get to find that somebody is behaving in a manner that is untoward, the obvious thing is to report such persons to the security agencies for them to deal with. We shouldn't take the law into our own hands and then, close down their shops, attack them, stone them. That wouldn't augur well for anybody. Now we need to remember that we also have some Ghanaians living in Nigeria. And this kind of thing can backcrash. And when that happens, what becomes of our brethren there?
There could be a reprisal.
There could be a reprisal, and which would be unfortunate. So I would plead with my fellow Ghanaians as a member of the National Peace Council on behalf of my chairman and the others on the board, that let us do things decently as Ghanaians. We've been known to be very civil. We've been known to be very hospitable. We've been known to be very accommodating. Let us continue on that trend. Rather than going on the tangent whereby we would now begin to have acrimonies within the sub-region, for which together, for example, in this workshop, we are seeking to build this kind of harmony. So that for me is very unfortunate what is happening now, and I'll plead that people stop this, and then they rather do the proper thing by reporting any miscreants, anybody that they think see in a very suspicious manner or behaving in a manner that can cause unrest, to the police or to the security agencies for them to deal with.
Right, now you talk about sub-regional peace. Now, with the trend, what is happening at the moment, what is the implication for the sub-region? I mean, those within the West African sub-region.
Now, when we continue doing this, we rather give opportunity to the enemy, those who are there, the organized groups, for them to now infiltrate and do more harm, as if they are doing it on behalf of the nations who might not have sent them to do it. So we rather open ourselves up for attack. We shouldn't do that. And therefore, there is every reason why we need to do things in a more civil manner, in a manner that will bring peace for all of us.
Couldn't agree more, but we'll go on the phone line shortly and speak to the Guta Welfare Officer, Mr. Benjamin Yeboah, shortly. But first, the king of the Igbo community in Ghana, His Royal Majesty Eze Dr. Ambassador Chukwudi Jude Ehinete, spoke on PM Express last night, and he's expressed similar concerns about the way Nigerians are being treated in Ghana.
These guys are giving us bad name.
Okay.
And we, the community leaders, who have taken that upon ourselves to identify who are these bad people, so as to hand them over to authority, because they cannot be here to spoil our names. We are hardworking Nigerians that have worked so hard to earn ends meet, worked so hard to have a stay in Ghana, and we cannot allow anybody that just come in to bring a problem to our people. So the entire community leaders, we have united together. We still calling more and more community meeting to identify who are these people. But remember what I said, and was also the question you asked. These people we are talking about, honestly, we are not doubting the report of the police. We are not doubting the report of the national security. But I am begging the Ghana authority to please give us the opportunity to see these people that claim to be Nigerians. They might not be Nigerians, they might be Nigerians.
Criminals.
Yes. So let them, because we have over 200 something ethnic groups in Nigeria, and all these ethnic groups are all living in Ghana. So we speak our local languages fluently to everybody. If you learn my language, there are things I will say you're not gonna know. But if you are born in that mother tongue, you'll be able to speak well, like the way I do. So we need to have access to these arrested boys that claim to be Nigerians, so that we will know where they are coming from Nigeria. If they are coming from the village of Kesi, being an Igbo, he ask them questions. If they are coming from Hausa, if they are coming from other type of Nigeria, questions will be asked them in our local language. And at that level, it will be easy for we to even know where it's coming from. The local government, the village, and the house is coming from. Then that will confirm that indeed this is a pure Nigerian. But people can hold other people's passport to claim they are coming from there. But we are not doubting the report of their authority. But we are begging they should give us opportunity to meet with these people. But honestly, the entire Nigerians in this country, we are not comfortable with this attitude.
Solution is all we need at this point, and it's time to get some education on the matter from the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA. And Benjamin Yeboah, like I said, is the welfare officer for GUTA, and he's been on the line with us. Thanks so much for making time to join us, Mr. Yeboah. So this is not the first time we're hearing about this issue. We've heard it in Swami before. This is not the first time. We've heard it in Circle as well, where traders were clashing with Nigerians, especially. It started with Chinese in Kantamanto and all that. Now we're hearing again this issue in Swami. What really will be the way forward? Is it just about enforcing the laws? What could be done?
Well, Marisa, thank you very much for having me, and good afternoon to you all. choicelessness. Like you were saying, truly, this might not even be the last time that you've been talking about this issue. Why? Because we have lost. We've been saying this time and over again, that we have lost. This GIPC Act 865, we've said it is a law on our statutory books. Now the point is that if that law is not being enforced, what do you expect? Every time this thing will rear its ugly head again, because the law says clearly that these foreign nationals should not be within some market areas and they should not be engaged in retail trading. It's so clear, black and white. But what has been happening? Nothing. The last time this committee was formed by the Trade Ministry, about almost 2 years ago, they had these operations at Swami magazine. Now, a lot of findings were made. So many of them, most of these images were not paying taxes, they were evading duties, they had some products that were deemed to be faked, they were doing money laundering, and all that. A lot of findings were made. GSA, Ghana Canal Authority, took samples of some of the items that they were selling. Now, almost 5-6 months down the line, what has happened? Nothing. Nothing. You see, when you do that, then the indigenous begin to think that they are being taken for a ride, because every time the institutions tend to give lip service to what they have to do. So nothing happens.
But Mr. Yabwa, though, you were talking about your laws in the country. We have ECOWAS protocols also that we cannot sidestep. So whilst we try to merge those two, do you take the law into your own hands? Is that the way to go?
No one is condoning that. Now you see, the point is that you were talking about the protocol. What does the protocol say? Just last week, what did we hear from the Nigerian officials in Nigeria? I don't know if your network had it. They said they are going to check on these resident permits, and if you are not having some, they will deport you.
But that's implementing their laws. That's implementing their laws. So you cannot say that because they are implementing theirs, you're going to take the law into their own hands and destroy. I'm sure you can see the pictures.
Close to more than a decade. How long would our people wait when they keep on losing their livelihood? How long? You see, when you do so, we as executive, you give us big up, because now it becomes at times almost impossible to control our people. It's just that we are not implementing the laws. Those that should enforce it are not doing so. So how can you enforce certain laws and you leave some, you don't enforce it? What is that? You see, so we wonder ourselves. Well, here you are, you hear the peace council talk, oh, we want peace, peace, peace. Then this person will come, oh, we'll do something. But when the action comes, nothing happens.
But we've had some explanations also as to how your membership is identifying the retail areas, the areas that are for retail and the areas that are for the large scale, where they can also be. But it looks like that distinction has not been done. So you identify everywhere where a Nigerian is or where a foreigner is, you say that that is a retail area. So to start with, the Swami magazine area, is it a retail area? You can give us that education.
The Swami magazine area.
Is it a retail area?
Of course, it is a retail. It has been a market for a very long time. Who says that is not a retail area? Where our members have been all these years. You see, so you see, that is where our people said.
But what could have triggered this attacks at this time? Because you said it yourself. We've been to this table before. We've been talking about this issue before. We spoke to you, Guta, and you stated that the ministry says you should give them some time to be able to implement this. You are at the drawing table. So what could have triggered this renewed attacks on Nigerians in the Swami magazine market?
Yes, it's the arrogancy of those Nigerians there. You see, we are having some, what do you call it? Argument on kidnapping. Now this argument gets a bit heated. The police comes in to ensure that there's peace and order there. The police leave, and what does those Nigerians there do? They start touting our members and telling them, you see, even the police protesters, you guys, you closed our shop the last time, it's open, what can you do? You people, you just stop playing the keke. You tease our people in their own lands. What do you expect, my sister? Then it becomes a problem for we, the executives, to try and control our members. It's unfair to us. What are the institutions doing? What is wrong with us as Ghanaians?
So you take up the case with your institutions. Don't you take up the case with those who are supposed to enforce the laws? Do you take it up on the foreigners who are trading with you or have been trading with you for all this while?
But the point is that before we would say, Jack, what has happened as we see now. You see, that is the painful thing. And you see, my problem is that we think that this issue is just a Kuta issue, it's just a traders issue. Don't be checking, your network, be checking what is going on. You realize that this thing is becoming more of a national security issue. It's moving from the trading arena. And we all Ghanaians should be very serious about what is happening in our country. People think it's a Kuta issue or a traders issue. It is not a Kuta issue alone. It is not a traders issue. They are taking over our country. If you like, sit down and watch the way they are infiltrating everywhere. I was listening to a police commander on TV, I think on one of your sister stations, and I felt so sad for the Nigerians to say that, look, they feel that our laws are weaker and it favors them, so they come in here and they do what they want. I can send you the video and you hear the police commander saying this. What is wrong with us? Why are we doing this to ourselves? We see that for these things to happen and the institutions are coming down. These people are just doing what they want and just, taking us for a ride. It's not fair.
So then where do we go from here? You've been meeting police, at least your executives in Kumasi have been meeting the police on this matter. They say that they are ready to arrest anybody that's engaging in any of these acts. What will be the way forward?
We are asking the Ministry of Trade, as a matter of agency, to release the report and the findings they did at Swami magazine. Then you and I will all see the filth that was there. They should tell us what took place there, because we have wind of what was happening there. They made a lot of money by collecting taxes that hadn't been paid by these foreigners for so many years. They made a lot of money collecting taxes. A lot of shops there were not paying taxes. Some had not even registered their companies, and they were there operating while they are taking us in the institutions for a ride. Why is GSC, Ghana Standard Authority, all the samples they took, they should let us know what happened to them and what they saw. What is going on? Why are they keeping it?
Have you tried finding out? Have you tried finding out? Because you've talked about it being like 2 years ago or so. This is a 5 months when they went there. Okay, so
the point is that so now we should just come and knock on their door for them to tell us what their duty is.
Your stakeholders as well. So I'm asking if you've tried finding out.
That is why we are getting these kind of situations, because of their inactions. They should sit up and do what they are supposed to do and enforce simple laws, please.
So you blame all this on at least the Trade Ministry?
But the point is that they are sitting down. They should come up with whatever they saw. They should let us know where we are going from where we left off. See, we are not forced on ourselves. They control those systems. So when they tell us that, look, this is what we found, now this is what we are going to do, then we know something is happening. Then our people get to know that something is going on the ground. But no one is doing anything. And when we stop talking and shouting, oh, let there be peace. How can you have peace when those people are struggling and they are losing their livelihood day in and day out?
But have you considered your compatriots who are also in Nigeria, for instance, if they hear news like this in Ghana, don't you think they'll also be affected?
Look, here we are. The Nigerian government is sanitizing their system. So they sent 4 Ghanaians home just recently.
But are they attacking Ghanaians there? Are they attacking Ghanaians and closing their shops?
No, but what are they doing? So it's a signal to our authorities that since they are sanitizing theirs, they should also start sanitizing their homeland and make sure that they make the laws work. Those who are not having the requisite people should be sent home. The protocol, ECOWAS protocol says what? 3 months, 90 days, you come in, do business, and you go back. If you want to stay there, you go by our registration laws. What is going on? People come in here and they decide that, oh, this is the where I want to stay. So I decided to stay here.
But have you checked? Do you know that they don't have the right requisite documentations to be here? Do you know
that 5 months ago there was some what do you call it? A task force work at Swami magazine. Please, Multi TV or Joy, go and ask for the findings. Then you will see. Go and ask. media people, go and check. You see what they will tell you. Whether they have, some of them have even the right to be even walking around here. They have a lot of them have no papers whatsoever. They become Ghanaians because no one is checking them.
We're grateful for your time, Mr. Benjamin Yeboah. He's a welfare officer. Good, we're indeed grateful. But in a related development, an international relations expert, Dr. Vladimir Nchidanso, has also dismissed claims by some that the ECOWAS protocol on free movement of goods and persons is partly to blame for this phenomenon. He says that the responsibility of ensuring that miscreants do not enter the country lies on the Ghana Immigration Service and urged them to sit up to prevent such occurrences in the future. He's been speaking on the AM show.
That the fact that we have this protocol in existence and Ghana is a signatory to it does not mean that anybody enters our country from within the sub-region and starts practicing things like Ghanaians. We have laws pertaining to Ghana alone. Nigeria has laws pertaining to Nigeria alone. But those laws don't have to be inimical to the general protocol of the sub-region. And I think our laws are not inimical. You register, you can take part in any business, you can do anything you want in Ghana. Such is the situation that protocols and agreements reached at the headquarters of these regional bodies don't become part of the national psyche. It has to come into our national laws. Parliament will have to talk about it and then disseminate it through the media. So it's unfortunate that this protocol you and I are talking about, people have a hazy idea of it and quote it without knowing what the tenets are and what they have to do.
As a justification.
As a justification, yes. Unfortunately, yes, we don't disseminate the protocols like between the headquarters of the regional bodies, like between Abuja and the 15 West African countries. There is a big gap, a gap which is filled by all kinds of misthinking. You know, so you're right. How many protocols have we not acceded to as a country in our multilateralist relationship with the world? But how many of us understand what is going on? You know, a UN protocol or a UN resolution we have implemented or we have signed onto. AU things we have signed. ECOWAS things. How many of them are in the ordinary public domain for us to understand? So that is one of the banes. I mean, that's a big problem that in Ghana, people do not know about our multilateral relationship.
Thanks for staying with us here on The Pulse. Now let's do some other stories. So let's head to Vegas, here a suburb of Achimota here in Accra, because police have mounted search for gangs involved in clashes at that community. It's a slum community in Achimota here in Accra, and that resulted in the death of one person. That's a 24-year-old, and he was stabbed during a confrontation with his friends Tuesday night. Joining News' Matilda Romaga just returned from the community and has been speaking with residents of the area.
Idea is here and say, Yawahana Tise, boys no, or Musa Tise, or Moko. Ntokwano Mona, or Moko no Monona, or Moba say, Bakudia, or Hasi, Kios. Ntikios now, Musa and Wahano. One also call found in Cron for by. Or Mobile, Ntokwani, Grigina, this kind, the war, Bacono, say Kios Weno. One also call found in Cron for by. Omuba na se wenu mu so etiti kwesu so no mbetugu omosuna kikiri na na omodesi kan de wo ba kono ba entimi hu nipa nde kasi ehun se we na desi kan wo ni dia nende nyanukure.
So you have been hearing from a resident of this place. He tells me that he was here last night when everything started. He at the moment is displaced with his wife and then his child. What he tells me is that there was no arrest last night, but they couldn't rescue anything. They couldn't salvage anything from their buildings before the guys set it out, because even when he tried pulling his fridge and other things from the containers, the guys stopped him. In fact, he says one guy actually tempted to stab him if he takes anything from his wooden structure. So he had to leave those things and he fled, because the guys, there were a number of these guys who had had gathered here. They couldn't stop them, and I'm told that these guys, when they come to the neighborhood, they are in their numbers. I'm told more than 30 guys. That is how come they couldn't stop them. They couldn't stop these guys who had come in their numbers because of the weapons they were carrying. Some were holding knives, so there was no way they could have got close to these guys to stop them from causing the distraction. So they had to, they looked on helplessly for these guys to burn their structures. They had to save themselves and save their families. That is how come they couldn't intervene when all these were happening. But I'm told that there was no arrest last night. We are yet to speak with the police to find out from them what exactly had happened.
I beg you, look at my grass.
I can see it.
My place.
They destroyed everything.
My 2 fridges.
Okay.
My 2 fridges. My plasma way did there.
Okay.
Mommy. And my wife gave me 1,000 Ghana. This is my wife. I'm a bra. My wife gave me 1,000 Ghana.
Okay.
To start it tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm not having money. Before God and man, I'll never tell you the truth.
Okay.
That Nana Kwame, this is what is going on. Wake up. And I say, no, I have nothing wrong with anyone, so let me sleep.
Okay.
Because I've worked in the morning.
Okay.
When you wake me up.
Okay.
So I slept.
Okay.
When he came back telling me fire is burning here.
Okay.
It's burning on the car. So I went to the car, pouring water on it, not knowing that they are burning my spot. When my spot, you have to make maslachi in my spot. When I'm the one giving you light, but before God and man, the boy they killed is my best friend.
You know him?
I know him, star boy.
So what did he do? What did he do? What
I was not there. My wife came wake me up.
So what did Starboy do? Who is he? Can you describe the kind of person?
Starboy is a very nice guy.
Okay.
Starboy is ballet guy. Looks very nice. Ballet.
Thank you. My master to his what?
Or a trouble causer.
Me, I say he's a good boy. Okay. But my brother says he's a
ballet guy or a trouble causer.
Still within Vegas, where the distraction happened last night, after the group of men had destroyed over 20 wooden structures and containers, they moved to this area. I'm told this is a drinking spot where most of the residents here come to almost all the time to have fun, to drink and while away time. This place is called Watch Them. The guys were not here. After they had set fire to those structures there, they moved to this place. They broke the glasses. You can see the television set there. They destroyed the television set. They moved to the doors. They destroyed the glass doors. They destroyed everything here. You can see from the ground broken glasses.
Televisions and Yabakwana Mino. Well, you say about 2 at the court. Because you Busia or Despite Bank. Maybe we are on more Abbey Scano. Sesame will be
Indra guys no more.
Andra and you have to go free and to go as I say was no more. How and Cahu. Me no money business be our me no more.
No more targets or more pan other structures no more has say.
Time and I won't say I'm passing be we are. I'm passing bomb be we are. Cause me Busama Koji Kreska Yapaja. I am at your semis as in Bibia. So I want me as ceremony now, so minimum would be I don't fear the Froco, I go no, Sata, Dewa, Bossam Dawson. How many more fear the Froco Starboy, the Uno. Also, there will be a wouldn't be out. I take one to Quaba area. To come see all the kind. And so you will be see. Oh, no, on the beer, so nothing to come back area. Me say, boys, I am a provision store. I am a beer.
Maybe I know what kind of die. It's not maybe such as see a Ghana police someone one day.
Ghana police, me call report to Tessano. Division commander. I'm a Mutraka Muba. I'm a boys and no high. Yes, I know, man. Police will be at you. amukoye ama boys na for law because I report to case I was a police intermediary and branch and make just say o boys no mo he e bia ye for kan e ko chi boys no obi ama ma chi bo hwe me me wama mienu bisa mu masa akwala we mu take law into mu wana some mu ba fa ka sama hu dia si na si to take law into o ho na se be papa sanya papa ya ko ka sa mu be ka si ashiwi but we are talking about wisdom and knowledge senya me ma wisdom and knowledge you have everything in life prosperity but some na make a chira prosperity first one no second one right as if first one no as the second one
what surprise you want be all there
we will arrest those
tell them that we want prosperity because you need peace
send people follow mo na mo follow no so
you want prosperity
you come to and some more
because you need peace
say you pure quarter ni akase why did you akase some nya Ghana ni
Now, the family of the deceased, they are demanding his body, that's the body of the 24-year-old that was stabbed for burial according to Islamic rules.
He's my junior brother.
What is his name?
His name is Alasan Abdullah Salu.
Okay. And how old was he?
He is 24 years.
24 years old. What does he do?
He is a footballer.
Okay. So tell me, what exactly happened? What information did you pick?
Yesterday, around 6:30 to 7, we just finish. I'm in the house. As my other brother called me, say somebody stabbed our brother at the down there. I say, me too, since...
Where do you live?
I live at Achimata Central Mosque, back of the Central Mosque there. Time I arrived there, I see people plenty over there. Just so people, 2, 3 people, they are standing, chatting with each other. I say, one of them brother and wife did there. Then I asked him, say, somebody called me to tell me this is what is going on. And he said, oh, it's true. They stabbed my brother, he died. So I went over there. That's not one day. As he said, nobody is there. I asked someone, they say they rushed him to Achimota Hospital. By the time they rushed him today, he already died inside the car. So as they rushed him over there, they give him some form there, they attend to police hospital. Okay.
Did you get any information why he was stabbed and who exactly stabbed him?
I just hear, by the time I arrived over there, what I'm hearing people's mouths, they say somebody called Ibrahim, they are fighting, then some guy be called...
They were fighting over what?
They say somebody just dash them some money.
Okay, how much?
They say the money is like more 3 million.
Okay.
They are sharing this money, bring this fighting. As they are fighting, then one of them calling people back. Then they came. I say one of the guys inside, the name is Tolu Bobo. He stabbed me.
He stabbed him. Have you been able to see him?
No.
Where are they?
The people I'm talking about, they vanished. We didn't see them. Since the thing happened, we didn't see them up to now.
I know you have been meeting the police. What have the police been telling you?
You know, we Muslims, our this thing is, we have to take time to do whatever we're supposed to do. But we Muslims, our religion is telling us if somebody died, at least by 30 minutes, 15 minutes time, we have to bury the person. So we are through with police where they will give a chance to get the body so that we bury him. Then after that, then we see what is going on.
Okay. So have they released the body to you yet?
No, we just went to the field over there. We just did go and check one of 2 things over there. After we came, we follow him to the office. He just tell us he send people to bring their docket from Achimata police station. If they bring it, we will sign it for it. After he sign finish, we can get the body so that we will go and do whatever we want.
Does it look like you get the body today?
What the police tell us, the commander tell us, if they just this get right early, we can get the body.
Okay.
Well, the police is meanwhile yet to make any arrest. Divisional Commander for Tesano says they are following leads to make that arrest.
Yeah, the information we pick is these two guys apparently they're deceased, and then one guy called Ibrahim. Somebody gave them money and they were sharing, and upon the sharing, misunderstanding ensued between them, and then they fought.
Okay.
Then the fight, I think the Ibrahim was not satisfied, so he called in his people, and they also came to fight with the deceased, and one of them stabbed him.
Okay.
Yeah, that was it.
That is the only information.
That is the information.
Has the police been able to make any arrests so far?
So far, no. We are now picking the names, and then we're going to work with it.
Okay. But what is your understanding of this area called Vegas? I'm told this is not the first time something of this nature is happening, burning of structures and fights all over. I'm told this is not the first time. What have you gathered as far as this area is concerned?
Yeah, they are the same people. When it happens and they call in police, we will quickly rush in here, and when we come, they will say, oh, they've passed here, they are here, they are that, and this is their motorbike, and we will pick them, and no information will come again. So they are always satisfied with whatever is happening. When we come, instead of them giving us the information to work with, they will be left tight. Nobody will talk. After we've left, before they will be making noise. As we heard this morning, somebody was saying police are aware. Yes, we are aware. We've been coming here. Okay. But what information have you been giving us? We come, we do arrest, swoop. When we do the swoop, we take them to the station. We screen them. If we don't get any exhibit on them, it is very difficult to send them to court. So that is our challenge now. Okay, so having identified the challenge, how are you going to tackle this particular issue? One person has been killed. Over 20 structures, they say, have been burnt. What are you going to do? Yeah, we are going to do something. I think we cannot disclose it. This is strictly, exactly, yeah, our police modus operandi. So we have to keep it, and then you will see it aftermath. Are you keeping watch over some of the communities around? Because I'm told the guys who caused the destruction do not live here. Some are from Akweteman, some are from Abofu, they say. Have you picked any leads from those areas? We have, yes, we have. Even the first one also we did. They said they are from Fadama, and they know them. Somebody even told them he videoed them. I asked them to bring me the video so that we work with it. And up to now, nobody. So they will say they are not from here, they are not from that. But for them to show us who or where they are from, it is also another mystery to them. Okay, okay. Let me have a quick understanding of the nature of this particular place. I'm told some 3 months ago, a similar issue had happened. They reported the case to the police. The police came here, no arrest was made. The case just died. So it's because of the issue of no arrest. That is why they keep seeing some of these things. Do you agree to what they are saying? Yeah, they are the same people who make the complaint, and when we come, instead of them pointing out the culprit, they will not. And we will do general swoop, and we won't get any information or any incriminating thing from any of them. And by so doing, we have to grant them bail. So that is how it is now. That's why I'm saying they like the way things are going. They serve them, they serve the criminals. They are with them. So it is difficult for them to point them out. Meanwhile, we've told them, if you have any information, you can come straight to my office and then talk to me. And we will take up your information and work with it. And nobody will own you up, but they don't come. They don't come. This is the problem. We've been coming here always. Always when it happened, I come here myself with my team. We will come around, enter the houses, ask them, they know me. But they will not give us any information which will lead to the arrest of the suspects. So that is the problem. Do you intend doing a swoop in this area too? Let's leave it for now. What exactly can you say regarding the people and the kind of lifestyle here? You see these kiosks here, when you come, people are living in, and they are here. But when it is swoop, the real culprit, they will run away.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Pulse. We'll take a quick break at this time, but what sort of infrastructure would you want to see in Ghana by the time the country turns 100? You actually have a power to make that suggestion and have it implemented, you know. Find out when officials of the National Development Planning Commission joins us in the studio. We'll talk about their upcoming public dialogue on a long-term development plan. Please stay with us here on the Pulse. We'll be right back.
For chop! Aish! Me too. Exeter paracetamol provides quick acting relief from aches and pains and is gentle on the stomach. Exeter paracetamol is manufactured by Ernest Chemists under license from Exeter Pharmaceuticals. Exeter paracetamol, Ernest Chemists, because everyone needs a chemist.
The Huawei Y9 Prime 2019 before 21st June 2019 to enjoy a free sports band, Bluetooth speaker, headphone, and a phone case. Terms and conditions apply.
The stage is set for West Africa's most prestigious awards that celebrate distinguished men who shaped Ghana and Africa. Bigger, better, and more exciting. The 4th Annual Emmy Africa Awards, in partnership with the Commonwealth, with support from the Multimedia Group, comes to you live from the Kimpiski Hotel on Saturday, 22nd June 2019. Visit emmyafrica.com or at Emmy Africa on all social media handles for more information. Platinum sponsor Glenfiddich Whiskey, the world's most awarded single malt Scotch whiskey. Silver sponsors Nasco Electronics, Arosha Ghana, Allianz Insurance, Investor Hub, Silver Star Auto Limited, Specialized Mineral Water, supported by EY Ghana and M Pedigree, powered by Carbon AV and EM Magazine. Media partners. For inquiries and table reservations, call 020-201-8870. Emmy Africa Awards, celebrating the Men of the Year, inspiring greatness.
A new day comes with a new hustle. My name is Shatawale. I started on the streets. They tried to hold us back, but we kept moving. I worked hard because I knew one day I would play hard.
Thanks so much for staying with us here on The Pulse. You're welcome back. Now, most developed countries have identities that even children are able to identify, own up, and start working at it immediately they are introduced to it. Now, these identities did not come on a silver platter, but rather through intensive planning and implementation of those plans. Now, take America, for example. They have the American dream that all citizens and even expatriates sometimes try to identify with and work to it to improve their living conditions. Ghana, through the National Development Planning Commission, NDPC, has tried over the years to follow suit by setting long and short-term development goals, but implementation has always been thwarted by various governments due to politicization of the final blueprint of the NDPC. By this time around, they are initiating monthly dialogues to ensure people own up to the various plans and strategies devoid of partisan politics on topical national issues, which they believe will go a long way in the sustainability and implementation. Now, 14 sessions have been planned from May 2019 to June 2020, so it looks like it's already started. They are here with us in the studio to throw more light on it, and Mr. Alfred Kwesi Opoku is a development planner and president of the Ghana Institute of Planners. He's also a member of the National Development Planning Commission. Welcome to the Pulse.
Thank you very much.
So we have an American dream. Do you have a Ghana dream?
We have a Ghana dream.
Which is?
Ghana at 100. And that is where we hope to become not a middle income group anymore, but within the higher income group countries. And the parameters are there. To be in a higher income bracket, a certain percentage of your people, 70% and above, should have education. That's the minimum. Your infrastructure, roads, health facilities, schools, and everything should be at a level where it's conducive for learning. Water, for example, every home must have connected. Toilets should be in the homes. If it is not possible to be in the home, there's a standard. For example, in a public toilet, every 30 people should be in one drop hole. In the communities, one pipe stand should have about 300 people, and so on. They are all standards there. But we are aiming towards every house getting connected to these facilities. Health facilities should be within 5-kilometer radius of the people. Road network should be such that you can move within 5 minutes or 15 minutes from your home to the net within the 5-kilometer radius. And so we have a structure where if you call yourself a higher income country, all the standards are there. And therefore we are aiming that everybody will have that in mind. And then you'll be working towards that, so that it will not be like somewhere in the books that you must know, but it's a common thing that is on the market for everybody to understand and know.
Well, that's debatable. People will still say that indeed it doesn't look like we have a clear Ghanaian dream that even children would work up to and look up to and start working towards it. But what happened to our Vision 2020? Are we on course for next year?
Yeah, Vision 2020 was even brought down a little earlier because the targets that were to be achieved by 2020 was achieved earlier. And therefore we were quite on course in terms of getting to the middle income, lower middle income bracket. We got there earlier than the 2020. What followed next was the 40-year development plan. Luckily, for example, as a president of Ghana Institute of Planners was part of preparing it. I mean, in terms of we advocated for it to be done. We had support from BUSAC. Now that I'm a commissioner at NDPC, there's no way we are throwing it out. In fact, we have not thrown it out. We are now breaking it down into readable and friendly versions so that people will take it up. There were a few things that had to be changed. The new commissioners have edited it and are turning around in such a way that it will be implementable. So luckily for us, you are not throwing it away now. If you're going to get these kind of continuities, continuation of plans and programs, then we are heading towards a very beautiful end. And that is why when you say 40-year plan, people wonder what is 40 and what is 30. Now we are saying Ghana at 100.
Yes.
So that it is easier to know that we'll be 100 years at a certain time.
So is it not because you cannot achieve the 40-year development plan, so now you are extending it and making a Ghana at 100?
No, it's the same 40 years.
It's confusing.
No, it's the same 40 years.
Okay.
The 40 years going to end at 2057.
Okay.
And so when you say Ghana at 100, it also ending the same at 2057. But the difference was that earlier on it had a title, development plan, 40-year development plan, and there was a problem technically with it. When you say development plan, it means that you are telling me how many schools I should build in 40 years, at which location and at what size. And that was a little problematic. Why? Because in 40 years, if I didn't build it now, Would I need the same size of the classroom you asked me to build 40 years ago? And would the location still be the same place? And do we still need classroom in 40 years? And those kind of thing. But if we say Vision 2020, Vision 40, or Ghana at 100, it means that we still have the target of getting everybody at school. But at that time, if I build a classroom in the next 10 years, it may not be at the same location. The priority location has changed. And therefore, calling it Ghana at 100 makes it flexible for any other person to continue from where it was the previous one left it off. So that is how we call it Ghana at 100. But nothing has changed in terms of time and implementing and targets. It's the same thing.
From where you sit, every time there's a change of government, most things are thrown out of the window and a new thing is started, even though we had a vision in place. Thankfully, you're saying that we achieved most of the things before 2020. But how sure are we that what we are putting in place now will also not be thrown out of the window? Let's say if 2020 there's a change of government, or after that, how we make
that is what we are starting to do something. There are a number of suggestions. People think that let us take it to Parliament, put a law on it. But laws are made by man, and man can decide not to follow. But we are making it a mass acceptance kind of a policy. This series of things that NDPC is doing now is to ensure that everybody understands it. That we say by Ghana at 100, we said we're going to get this thing. Let everybody come in and accept it and push whoever is coming to take over. So that if they are changing the rules, the public, not an individual, not a group of people, would come around and question, but everybody should be involved in asking the question. That is why NDPC is now doing all these public things that we're going to talk about. For example, by constitution, there should be 40 people that constitute the NDPC. It's been made 43 by including other specialized groups like Ghana Institute of Planners. What is happening is that the knowledge and the practice of development shouldn't be left to only these 43 people. They can't have all what is all. So let everybody come and share the vision with us, understand it, and push it forward. So that even if this NDPC is not there, the next NDPC will know that the public will ask of them, what have you done with that, the way you are asking me. So we are beginning something new. Continue what is past or what the previous government left down for us. Luckily for us, there were some people within this NDPC who have served in the previous one. And I have also worked with the NDPC as, not as a commissioner, but even as a staff of the Planning Institute. So I cannot become a commissioner now and decide to throw away things I have helped prepare and to put in place. So there's a continuity, and I'm happy with that I'm part of it.
So it looks like if some of the members are maintained, even when there's a change of government, it also helps with the continuity.
That is it, And so we're going to have a good thing in continuing to do what we must do.
So then it brings us into the public dialogue. Very interesting, but I would want to know how Ghana would look like in 100. I would ask you that, but we'll push off it for now. But let's talk about this public dialogue on long-term development plan. What form is it going to take? Tell us a bit about it.
Right now, we have had one earlier, that was an introductory one, talking about how we want to look like at 100, and we also look at how many plans have worked, why it worked and why it didn't work. And for the speaker at that time explained to us that about three series of times development plans in Ghana has worked. At that time there were certain factors. Corruption was low, there was tax payment was a little higher, people were paying their taxes, and there was a mass acceptance of what was needed to pretend. There was also leadership that was driving it. Now, those that didn't work, if we look at the background, we realize that it wasn't anything, the enforcing agency or the leadership that would drive the thing was a little not there, let me put it that way. And so if you want a plan to develop, to be implemented in Ghana, we have the history to know what plan and how a plan should be implemented. Leadership, drive, and making it popular and everybody participating in that. So this time we're going to talk about modernizing infrastructure for accelerated development. We are having Ghana at 100 in mind.
Yes.
And we want to see at that time, at the 100, we have to be a higher income country, as I said earlier. And higher income country has its parameters. What makes you a higher income country? And so we are getting ourselves towards that. Infrastructure include everything, development, every facility that will help economic growth. Roads, it has several modes.
Good roads, not just roads.
Right. Good roads, well maintained. Not only after 3 years it's gone down. Railway line, fast moving, electric ones, air travel, local from Kumasi to Accra, from Accra to Tamale, expanding from to Ho and all other places. We're also thinking about sea transport. Yeah. The Akosombo Dam can help us transport goods from the port all the way to Bupe and all that kind of things, And so we are looking at all these things that should be part of it. I mentioned about health facilities that needs to be modernized and made sure and so on. Housing should be made available. For me, I disagree with the word affordable. The point is that is there any house in Ghana that's not affordable? A certain class of people can go and buy. Houses in Trasaco are not waiting for buyers. People pay the money now, so it's affordable. What I have in mind is that we should have houses by income level.
Okay.
So that the government will build a house, if it's timber or clay or what, the price is there.
No matter your income, though, you still have to. It's difficult sometimes.
So, housing by income level, so that based on your income, you get your type of house.
There are some subsidies, at least, it will become affordable.
There will be the subsidies will be in the term, even where the subsidies are. For example, the statistics show that even when government subsidizes, there's just about 5% of Ghanaians that can support, their income can support that. Okay? So let their income, what makes a house more expensive? It's about the finishing, tiles on the floor, POP in the ceiling, type of roofing, and all those things. Meanwhile, people are simply in kiosks. I'm not saying that is the prescription, but you can get a concrete floor cement, a concrete floor for people to sleep on that, and they prefer. When he has money, let him put tiles there. But for now, give them a usable, floor, a house, kind of, so that he can stay in and instead of a kiosk, So depending on the finishing, give it a kind of a house that somebody can stay in, livable home, and that would be well. So all these things come to into the fact that let's not talk about affordable, but income, housing by income level.
But housing by income levels, we have some constructed and they are still sitting there. And we are
these were private people. If you're talking, I know where you are driving at, but I won't go there. I won't go there. There's a lot of political in and out about that, So, and these are some of the things that we need to go away from that, because there were earlier houses that were also dropped, and new ones have been started. It's on the way of being dropped because of all kinds of explanations that we have, and therefore we need to look at that and decide.
But all these are learnings going forward, because it's in the plan. It will start, and then you would have these little problems and challenges and hurdles along the line.
Right.
So these are things that, even though we don't want to get into it, are things that I'm sure that the NDPC is drawing learnings from.
Definitely, we don't stop learning because the world does not stop teaching. Every day there's a teaching course that we must take. And somebody has said simply that the world is a university without walls. Everybody is a student, everybody's a professor. So we keep learning and sharing our ideas and going on. And that is why a forum like what we're having in mind is coming, that people come and share ideas. Tell us what we need to do. We will tell you what is happening. We are inviting people who would come and who are not NDPC members, private practitioners in the country, come and speak. Let's share the ideas. Let's put into the Ghana dream, Ghana at 100. This is where we want to go.
So what are they coming to speak about? The development plan?
No, this time they're going to talk about modernized infrastructure to fit the Ghana at 100, which has been picked from the 40-year plan, which is now called Ghana 100. So that had in mind Ghana becoming a higher income country at a certain point in time, and the expectation of Ghana as far as infrastructure is concerned. So it has been teased out of it and he has prepared a whole document on that. Again, NDPC has looked at that document, over 400 pages. We have edited it, given our comments, and he has included all the comments in it, and therefore it's becoming a working document now. We're going to prepare implementation plan towards that. The next thing is funding, of course, but at least we have not thrown that document away. It's worth keeping, it's worth reading, it's worth implementing bit by bit, so that from now on, any infrastructure plan or implementation infrastructure plan that's going to happen in the country must come out of that document, which is also coming from the Ghana 100 document, so that we have the broad one and the series of it, so that if we take one and we are going forward, we know that we are all moving towards a particular point.
Okay, so the Ghana 100 document has been set in motion already?
Let me say that it hasn't been thrown away. We have now just completed.
Has it been set in motion? Like, have we started implementing it?
Not implementation. We got the document early this year. We have now finished the editing, kind of, and therefore, but the infrastructure plan was also developed earlier. So the two of them were hand in hand going, and therefore it doesn't go away from it. The implementation of both of them are at the same level, and therefore we are working on that. Yeah.
But I would get into this public dialogue, but a lot of things come up when it comes to this, especially you're a planner, so I'm very happy. I'm very happy to have you because you're a planner. But you see, we're talking about development, plans, fine documents we have as a country. You all travel and you see all the nice things out there, hoping that we can get to, at least we watch it on TV, we don't get to travel. But we watch it on TV and we hope that Ghana will become that. But look at us year in, year out when it rains, and then we are flooded all over. And it comes down to planning. They say that people are building waterways, even though people dispute it and say that elsewhere people are building on the sea, reclaiming the sea and building there and all that. But we are having to grapple with this every year. Where are the planners? You are there at the end.
I am there. I am there. I like the last sentence. Do they not listen to you? I can give you some examples. A planner is a qualified technical civil servant who gives his ideas. The government paid for my school fees at the university, has employed me to sit down in the office and design a plan for him, whoever the government is. And then when they go out to implement, and I come back and say, government, the plan I made for you, somebody has built in the waterway. And the government, whose representative is the assembly, the metropolitan or district or municipal assembly, do not go and pull down that building.
But who watched for that building to even come up in the first place before you have to?
There are a series of things. For example, in Accra here, as of 2015, there were only 29 building inspectors for a whole AMA. At that time, had not been distributed, I mean, disseminated into about 16 assemblies now. There's a challenge there. People will struggle to build overnight. People will do whatever that they have to do to ensure that the building has go to a lintel level, that's ran up and go on. Whatever it may be, I have eventually, given the space and time I have, gone to see that this building is in the wrong way. It must be pulled down. Exactly. That is the law. I will cite an example. We are doing some football. I'm sure you understand what I'm going to say. A goal has been scored, and then the referee go and see the VAR and realize that, oh, even though the goal is scored, but it went the wrong way. Do we say that because the goal has scored, it's been scored, just allow it? No.
That's why we were the VAR.
So I'm the VAR. What I saw was that somebody has built in the waterway, because I'm saying that there was a particular Oko Vanderpoy. He asked us to go and count number of houses and structures that were in waterways. We counted 900. 900. And he gave them 3 months. Come and prove that they have a permit. Nobody came. So he started pulling houses down at his time. The first 300 went, and they went to court. The remaining 600 joined them. And the court of Ghana placed an injunction on the demolition. And And newsmen, mass media, journalists stood up and said, human face, stop.
And political
and so on. And even people in his own party warned him that if you lose the election, you will see. So is it the planner who ensured that the structures in the waterway should remain, or the people of Ghana? So Ghana, we admire beautiful plans, but we don't decide. We don't decide. We don't want it done. The fact that somebody has finished building but building using the wrong method, and therefore let it be there. And so when water finds its own way and there's flooding, you say, where's the planner? I am there. I'm available. You don't want to take my word. That's about it.
Well, unfortunately, we'll be wrapping up shortly, but let's talk about the first. We've talked about the first dialogue. It was in May. The second one, when is it happening?
27th of this month at Ghana Academy of Art and Sciences here at 5 to 7. The speaker is one Charles Wachi. If anybody wants to join, he is welcome. It's free. Attendance is free. There will be other discussions. If you want to watch it on Facebook, we have hashtag NDF National Development Forum at NDPC Ghana. The same thing with Facebook, hashtag NDF NDPC Ghana, and so on. We welcome everybody. Your inputs. We have a Twitter, a WhatsApp number. While the meeting is going on, 050-960-315. If you call in, we take your question and we answer it for you and so on. So these are things that are going to happen.
We'll definitely be part of it. Mr. Alfred Kwesipoku, I would love to have you back again. We'll definitely love for you to come back. He's a development planner and president, Ghana Institute of Planners, and a member of the NDPC as well. We're indeed grateful for your time here. Now, we take a look at hawking, a familiar topic that has held the attention of city authorities for years. But as time goes on, the practice continues. Join News' intern Sharon Dankwa finds out why hawkers continue their trade despite the constant threat on their lives with motorists.
In the city of Accra, selling products on the side of the road wouldn't normally be associated with much danger, and it has become a common occurrence that many Ghanaians have come to welcome. But street sellers are now moving so close to vehicles that the threat of danger continues to grow.
We aren't really scared of the cars because we know that they are coming and they also see that we are here. They are the reason we are here. So the drivers that are coming take their time to make sure they don't hit us. But not all drivers are that cautious. Some say if we aren't careful, they will hit us. But not all drivers are that harsh.
Although sellers are gradually pushing the envelope with proximity, some drivers have become less cautious. So much so that sellers' biggest threat have now become motorcycle drivers.
Motorcycle riders don't stop to let us walk. They usually try to move in between cars where we are. They always try to weave between us, but they aren't cautious of us at all.
Many car drivers are now very aware of how close sellers are getting to their vehicles and fear for both their lives and others.
Yes, it is true that sellers get too close to our cars and we try our best to avoid them, but sometimes we get scared that our cars might just hit them.
After years of spending countless hours on the street, some workers still fear for their lives, but others are immune to the danger.
It is risky, yes, it is. But in Ghana, we are behaving like the youth. Things have become difficult for us, so we are trying to manage by selling on the streets, little by little.
According to the World Bank, the informal sector is a force in developing states, comprising between 25% and 40% of annual economic productions in both Africa and Asia. Street sellers say they plan to continue selling products during traffic stops. To most, it's their only form of survival, despite the risks. Reporting for Joy News, I'm Sharon Dankwa.
Now, according to Shraj, Ghana loses 13.5 billion cedis to corruption every year. One of the biggest challenges is retrieving monies lost. The following documentary, produced by the CDD, focuses on stolen monies and how the EOCO officers, or the Economic and Organized Crime Officers, hopes to retrieve them.
26 years, Ghana has experienced many government-related corruption scandals. The Corruption Watch Project alone has discovered 9.6 billion Ghana cedis stolen from the public purse.
Sadly, almost nobody ever gets convicted for corruption. But even worse, all of that money is almost never retrieved. It disappears like it never existed.
A specialized agency with the mandate to investigate and prosecute economic and financial crime like money laundering, falsification of accounts, and defrauding by false pretenses is EOCO. The head of public affairs at EOCO is Jacqueline Avotri. She is an expert on the topic of how to get our money back.
All our investigators have been trained to the moment you initiate or you start an investigation, you should look at the assets that the person that is being alleged to commit a particular offense has acquired as a result of whatever benefit the person has gotten from an illegal activity.
So, EOCO follows the money trail and identifies the assets that the person has acquired as a result of the illegal activity.
So we are talking about vehicles, houses, jewelry, money, bonds, shares, anything that the person has acquired as a result of the illegal activity. So we want people to know that if you commit a crime and as a result of that criminal activity, there's any benefits to you, we will go after the property and make sure that the property, the said property is confiscated to the state. It's very important because we don't want the criminals to benefit from their illegal activity. Crime should not pay. So we are interested in getting the profits out of crime. One good case that EOCO investigated that resulted in a confiscation of the property is the Maurice Asola Fadola case.
Maurice Fadola, a Ghanaian scammer, had posed online as a US Army officer. He pretended to be in love with 7 British ladies, gaining their trust little by little, building relationships through online chats over several years. Eventually, Mr. Fadola abused this trust. He defrauded these ladies and had them pay huge sums of money into his account.
So, in the course of investigations, we discovered that he used part of the money that the victims transferred into his account to put up a mansion. So there was a link, but the money that these women sent, he used part of it to acquire the property. So we went outside the property, we filed a seizure application, the court granted it. There was enough evidence to link the money that the man acquired to the property. So the court gave an order that the said property is confiscated. So once the order was given, then the next stage is to auction the property. So you value the property and we are in the process of auctioning the property.
Now that sounds fantastic, doesn't it? But the truth is, not all cases have such perfect happy endings. Investigators really need to identify the assets much earlier in the process. If this doesn't happen for any reason, it becomes so much more difficult to do it later on. One good example of this is the Republic versus Philip Asibit and Abu Dhabi.
Now, Turning to Germany, where the whole country is fixated on a murder case. The politician is dead and the suspect is in custody. Invigilators believe, or investigators, I beg your pardon, believe the alleged shooter may have had a political motive and a neo-Nazi past. My colleague Benis Abubedu Lanza earlier spoke to political correspondent William Glucroft with our partners in Berlin, DW.
Yeah, it's quite a shocker here in Germany. Walter Lübcke is his name. He's a regional council president in Western Germany, part of Angela Merkel's conservative ruling party, the CDU. Very outspoken supporter of Angela Merkel and her migration policies. He was found dead with a gunshot wound to his head, a close-range gunshot wound on his front lawn in front of his house on June 2nd. It was a huge mystery. Political murders, of course, don't happen very often in Germany. The last one was in the 1970s, carried out by left-wing extremists, and of course right-wing extremists haven't been active since the Nazi period in terms of murders and major crimes. So there was a lot of speculation swirling about why this politician, Walter Lübcke, was murdered in front of his house. Then on the weekend we had the first big break-in case. Apparently DNA evidence led investigators and police in the western part of Germany to a suspect, a 45-year-old Stefan E. In Germany, we don't use the full last name of suspects to protect their privacy and protect their presumed innocence. And he was already speculated in media reports for having right-wing, extreme right-wing ties, and that is what federal prosecutors also confirmed in a follow-up press conference.
Give us more details about how this became a bigger political story.
Well, now that the federal prosecution has first of all gotten involved with this case, the fact that the federal prosecution is involved is already a sign that there's a major case in Germany. Federal prosecutors in Germany tend to only be involved in major crimes, high crimes, crimes against the state, threats to the state, these kinds of things, not everyday crime, everyday murder. So the fact that they're there at all says a lot about the status of this murder, and the fact that they have confirmed that they are looking into neo-Nazi links is a very sensitive issue for Germany. It's gone from just a murder, a shocking murder of a politician, of a local leader, to something that might be much deeper and much broader. It is being compared to previous murders by far-right terrorists, notably a group called the National Socialist Underground that carried out a series of murders of non-Germans or Germans of foreign roots in the first part of the 2000s. It was a long investigation. The police and intelligence services were criticized for botching the investigation, for dragging their feet, for not quickly uncovering a much larger network. Now in this case with Walter Lübcke, so far it's being treated as a lone wolf case. The man, Stefan E., he is said to have a criminal record, a criminal background, and to have in the past been involved in far-right and neo-Nazi groups. Whether this was a political motive, whether he carried out this with a political motive, with a far-right agenda, remains to be seen. And whether there's additional conspirators who may have supported him and helped him in this crime is something prosecutors so far have not found evidence for, but are not ruling out. But certainly all across Germany, all across the political spectrum, a lot of anxiety and nervousness about what this might mean, about what might not yet have been found, that this could very well be the tip of the iceberg of a far-right, of another extreme far-right movement.
Has Germany had issues with far-right extremists in recent time, or would you consider this an isolated case?
Well, this is definitely an isolated case. As said, this is connected to a rise in far-right violence. The president of Germany, Frank-Walter Steinmeier, came out heavily criticized, especially online commentary, online opinions from far-right groups that savagely criticize and attack verbally and promote murder and death and violence of politicians who speak out for immigrants, who speak out for minorities, who speak out for refugees. Walter Lübcke was an outspoken supporter of migration, of the 2015, especially 2015 migration wave that we saw here in Germany. He's quite well known for having said that Germans who don't like the open door policy, the open policy for migrants. They could leave the country if they like. That got a lot of criticism. Walter Lübcke, it's coming out in media reports, has had a long history of threats and verbal attacks on him for his strong support for minorities, for immigrants, for refugees. So this is all being looked into, and again, this comes on the back of the National Socialist underground of social movements, far-right social movements that have really propelled the far-right Alternative for Germany party into parliament, into national parliament for the first time. Although this party has denounced this murder, many of their members are very cozily linked to some of these more extreme far-right groups. So there's a lot left to wonder about just how much Germany, which strives to confront its far-right and Nazi past, may still have left to go in doing that.
We'll take a quick break here on The Pulse, and when we return, we have sports. Do stay with us.
The Huawei Y9 Prime 2019 before 21st June 2019 to enjoy a free sports band, Bluetooth speaker, headphone, and a phone case. Terms and conditions apply.
I'm much more than a hairstylist.
I am much more than a cosmetologist.
I am much more than a spa therapist.
I am much more than a dermal technician.
At FC Beauty College, we offer more than just an education in the art of beauty therapy. With over 15 years of experience, we offer you the chance of being part of over 5,000 graduates who are inspiring change in the world of cosmetology. Duly registered with ITech, GES, and CODVETS, and with a high job placement rate for our graduates, we are truly more than just a college. See how you too can be much more by visiting our website and Facebook account to